Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Comic Source. I have a real treat for you today. I have the sisters Chanda Bell and Krista Pitts joining me today. They are two of the creative minds, along with their late great mother, behind Elf on the Shelf. I'm sure you've heard of it, or if not, experienced it like my family does. Also, longtime listeners of the podcast or checking us out on YouTube know how big of a deal Christmas is at our house with our 60 trees and have you. So we're here today to talk about some exciting Elf on the Shelf news and hear about the experience that the sisters had at San Diego Comic-Con recently. So let me start with you, Chanda. Give us a quick intro, if you will, and anything else you want our listeners to know as we're kicking it off.
Well, thank you so much for having us. What a treat. So fun to talk about Comic-Con. Wow, that'll be fun to get into. So I'm Chanda Bell. I'm the co-founder and the co-CEO of the Luma Stella Company, best known for the Santaverse. And I also co-wrote The Elf on the Shelf with my mom. And we kickstarted this amazing tradition that's now turned into the Santaverse together. So I handle all of the creative. So whether it's writing the books and stories for Santa Claus or, animated specials, any sort of content that falls to my team. And I'm honored to be here. So thanks for having me.
Awesome. And what about you, Krista?
So I sit on the other side of the business. I am also the co-founder and the co-CEO of the Luma Stella Company. Thrilled to be here. Thank you so much for having us. As a self-proclaimed sci-fi nerd myself, I'm really excited to talk about what we have going on as part of the Santaverse, and of course, share more about the Elf on the Shelf and how we built the brand and the affinity we now see in so many fans across the country and across the globe. So really thrilled to be here. Thank you.
Well, being such a big fan, self-professed fan of sci-fi and nerdy type things, it must have been just a joy for you to be at Comic-Con. Christmas in the summertime, it's such a big party, and we all celebrate the things we love, comics and science fiction and, Star Wars, Star Trek, all that kind of stuff. Elf on the Shelf got to be a part of it this year, Krista. So tell us a little bit about the experience and some of the things that you got to do. I mean, there was even an Elf on the Shelf, a come to life that was on stage at the fandom party, which was amazing. So give us a little detail on your experience.
Yeah, I mean, it was mind-blowingly fun. I can't describe it any better than that. I was a bit amazed at the creativity of the costumes. We saw everything from, as you mentioned, Star Trek, Star Wars, that fandom vein, to anime, to series that are more fully animated, characters from those worlds, comic book discussions. So immersing ourselves in the world just spoke to my nerdiness in every way, and I loved it. And I was particularly in love with the way I saw fans interact with the mascot. We brought the Elf on the Shelf mascot, and it was so popular. We could not get the mascot out of the hotel elevator lobby. We couldn't even get it into the lobby to get it out onto the street. And people were lined up and taking pictures and sharing pictures with Chanda and I, not just from their own family moments, but friends and videos. So it was a fantastic opportunity for us to be immersed in the fan universe and then consider ourselves now to be pretty big nerds and loving it.
Now, Chanda, that's so interesting to me because we'll get into it, everybody, if you don't know the history of, how it came from their own, personal family tradition. But again, this is summertime. I'm sure you guys have done plenty of events during the holiday seasons, but having it be summertime and having it be this nerd convention, how much it speaks to everybody. So tell us a little bit about Comic-Con from your perspective.
Wow, I think from my perspective, being you referenced sort of our backstory, but coming from a self-published background, right, and sort of starting all of this from scratch and sharing our own family tradition, I can vividly remember, the days where no one knew what Elf on the Shelf was, and so to be, to your point, off season among all the greatest fandoms in the world, and for the Elf on the Shelf to be a standout among the characters that they love was just really a moment for me. It was just a little bit surreal. a moment to be grateful, to feel really honored that this character that we loved so much growing up has become such a staple in households all over the world at this point. With this being our 20th anniversary, there are a lot of people who grew up with Elf on the Shelf now who really are entering this whole fandom era, because now maybe they're becoming, parents themselves, and they want to use the same traditions that they had growing up. So in all those ways, recognizing that the character and the IP is truly one with a huge fandom behind it was just a real moment, for sure. And just so much fun to watch, just the absolute love for the brand.
Yeah, and again, everybody, this is something that Chanda and Krista's mother started, and they have shared it with us now worldwide, as she mentioned. But the other aspect of it that I wanted to touch on, as we, you guys think back to doing this when you were kids, what I love about it is you've brought this to worldwide attention, and a tradition that everybody participates, or a lot of people participate in now, and again, to the experience of Comic-Con, seeing how many people enjoy it, and it just brings joy and brings families together and what have you. But what I want to touch on about bringing your personal family tradition to everyone is the fact that it's the same. Like so many people, maybe they pull something from their past and they kind of market it and bring it to the general public, but they have to change it or sanitize it, or make it kind of a little more everyman, if you will. What I love about your story and what your mother started, we're doing the same thing. You didn't have to change it at all to appeal to other people from other countries or other cultures or what have you. The fact that it's really so similar and so simple, and anyone can do it. You can make it as complicated or as simple as you want with the displays you do and what have you. So let me ask you, Krista, do you ever think about that? The fact that this really is just the same thing you all were doing, but now on a worldwide scale?
I think that's one of the things that made it so magical. Chanda and I saw it through the lens of children, right? Magic, belief, joy. And when we started talking about this concept to adults, let me say, or publishers, they saw it through the lens of, sadly, what can be a jaded adult's eyes, right? Kids will never believe that. No way, it's magical. Of course, that's silly. And for us, knowing how we felt about this moment in our home where we had this direct connection to Santa Claus ourselves, we knew it was worth fighting for. We knew it was something other children would love. We didn't necessarily anticipate what it turned into with the advent or the growth of social media and the way parents started engaging in this as much as their children. But one of the magical things about the Elf on the Shelf is its simplicity. You don't have to be the smartest child, the most athletic, the most musically inclined to enjoy this tradition. It doesn't matter where you come from, what you do, what you're best at. It's simple. And it's what your family makes it. And so I think that's part of the magic sauce here, and what I love in seeing it translate to now more than 20 countries across the globe and growing.
Yeah, what about you, Chanda? Any thoughts on the fact that it really is the same as what you and your family were doing way back when?
Yeah, I think that's what a tradition is, right? And hopefully families do make it their own, right? It's everything from these individual elf names that people give their elves to, some of the shenanigans that these elves get into. In our family, the elf was very simple, right? It just flew back and forth from the North Pole as a scout elf for Santa Claus. And then we would run and find it every day in this magical hide and seek game. So I think that the fun is, and I almost was like, man, you are straight from the script, want a job, want to work with us? Because, you really get that essence of it's for everyone, young, old, regardless of, issue or handicap or whatever might prevent you for participating in other things. This tradition is as simple or as complicated as your family wants to make it. And I think that's what is so appealing to families.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And to your point earlier about the fact that now kids that have grown up with Elf on the Shelf are now doing it with their children, the fact that it is becoming generational is so amazing. Well, we mentioned at the top some exciting news for Elf on the Shelf. There's a couple of things that are coming up that have me really excited in the Santaverse. Let's start first with the upcoming novel, Nicholas the Noble, which is coming out this holiday season. So what can you tell us about that?
Man, I can talk about that all day. That's a whole nother podcast. But it is my first novel. It's the debut novel of sort of the backstory of the Elf on the Shelf and how this little boy named Nicholas is eventually going to grow to become Santa Claus. You know, we sit at that vortex of humanity, right? Where they have all the questions about Santa and the elves, and they come to us asking those questions. So whether it's on social media or they call or they email, I mean, we have an entire staff of people who work for Santa Claus year round. And so because we've been getting those questions for so long, and who was in a better position than to tell stories for Santa Claus, you know, than us, we have put out this novel, and I think families are absolutely going to love it. It is a middle grades novel, so slightly older than our target audience typically is. I think adults will love it too. It's a fantasy adventure, I would say in the vein of a Narnia or a Harry Potter, something like that. My background's actually as a middle school teacher, so this is like my jam. These are my people. But I think we're going to find a whole new fandom here of these tweens and teens that have outgrown or begun, you know, to celebrate the elf on the tradition in a different type of way than maybe what they grew up with as children. And now we have a whole backstory for Santa Claus and all the friends that they've loved and known all of these years that they can embrace. I think it's something that as old as 9 years old, these families can definitely read the book together. So we're creating joyful family moments, which is what we do as a company. And I think families are just going to love this backstory of Nicholas. It's a story about a boy and his dog and their relationship, and introduces you to all these characters that people have come to know and love in our world, like Nora, who's also in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. And so I think they're going to see our whole world start to come together, the Santaverse, in a whole new way.
Okay, and is the book out already, or is it still upcoming? I apologize, I don't remember the date.
No problem. No, it launches on September 16th. So it is available for pre-order wherever books are sold. The Rise of Nicholas the Noble is what it is titled, and it is a special labor of love. I am so excited to share really the entire backstory of the North Pole with people so they can see what it is that we're really creating here.
That's awesome. So I'm going to put a link to a pre-order link in the show notes, everybody. If you're having trouble finding it, you can go and click there to pre-order it. And it sounds like the perfect kind of book to kind of share as a bedtime story during the holiday season, or even before, in anticipation. You know, share that story with your kids and you know, younger ones in your family in anticipation of the elf coming back to visit this holiday season. The other exciting news is we're getting an Elf on the Shelf video game that's coming up. So that's really exciting. We all know how huge video games are. Again, you know, we were just all at San Diego Comic-Con. That's another one of the big fandoms that are there. So tell us a little bit about this forthcoming video game. And specifically, I mean, you wouldn't necessarily think of Elf on the Shelf as a video game. You know, whose idea was this? How did it come about? Give us some details.
I'm happy to jump in on this one. We decided partnership made the most sense here, right? And we went to one of the best in the business and partnered with Outright Games. They have put together the most magical, fun, adventuresome game you've ever seen this side of the North Pole, right? Like, it is full of fun and adventure. And our team worked very closely with them to make sure that it is a Scout Elf focused adventure. And we always think about what's going on at Christmas time here in the human world, but what's happening at the North Pole? What are the elves up to? What does that look like? And so it's the mixture of the visualization of the North Pole and the adventures and the things that elves do there, along with imagination and great gameplay. You know, it doesn't matter what theme you put together if you don't have fantastic gameplay. So I think Outright Games did such a phenomenal job, not just visually, but making it a compelling game that kids will love to play, not just at Christmas time, but year round. And this is the first time we've done this. So we're really excited to have them as a partner. Yeah,
I'm glad you mentioned that, you know, for kids to play, because that's the other part of it. I'm sure with bringing things like the upcoming novel, which maybe skews a little older than the 4 or 5-year-olds that really get excited about Christmas, but with the video game as well, making sure that it's not just something that's because as we know, video games can be super challenging, make it as hard as you want it to be, and that can be frustrating for younger ones. So I'm sure that you guys were engaged with Outright and making sure, hey, this needs to be a game that's engaging for everybody, so they can learn more about the elf on the shelf, play as the elf, and again, just a way to bring families together, having fun playing this game, holiday season or not, to your point, Krista.
Yeah, and our universe is 24/7, right? And there are other characters that live at the North Pole, and there's always going to be fun challenges. But we are a family-friendly first company in everything we do. We create joyful family moments, and Outright Games understood that that's what we would be looking for in a partnership. So you can feel really good about the fact that, some parents are like, get off the video game. But in this case, it's really just expanding the world and the magical experience of the elf on the shelf and their favorite characters from the Santaverse.
Great. And do we have a release date for the video game as well?
Yes, it's in September. And we can provide you that link as well.
Okay, great. So again, everybody, I'll put the link in the show notes. You can go and click on it, check it out. And who knows, maybe it'll make a great Christmas gift for your little one this holiday season. So thank you so much, ladies, for joining me and talking about your experience at Comic-Con. Amazing to hear you couldn't even get the mascot out of the elevator at the hotel because everybody wanted to take a picture. That's just awesome. I was at the fandom party. I saw the mascot on stage with the All-American Rejects. That was such a fun moment. And yeah, that really showed me more than anything how we all share this tradition. We really, like, everybody, the whole crowd reacted when the Elf on the Shelf came out with the band. It was amazing. So thank you so much again for joining me. I want to give each of you a chance. If there's anything else you want to share with our audience, we'll start with you, Krista. Please feel free.
Yeah, first of all, thank you so much again for having us on the show and for the support that all of your listeners have shown us. The fandom experience, the party at San Diego Comic-Con, all of the fans that came by and shared their stories, just a big, giant thank you. And secondly, I hope you'll continue to engage with our universe, the Santaverse, the Nicholas the Noble book. I think you'll really enjoy it. I certainly did. There's a lot more characters from the North Pole than you might suspect. So I hope you enjoy it.
Awesome. And what about you, Chanda? Any final thoughts?
Yeah, I feel the same way. I mean, this is just such a treat to get to be here celebrating fandom, right? And the fact that we've been able to play some small part in creating a fandom for people around Christmas with something that's as special as the Elf on the Shelf. One of the things that really does stick out to me is the way people share it with us, right? So they pull out their phone and they show us pictures and tell us what their elf is named and tell us about their elf, shenanigans, if you will. And it's just a really special part of what we get to do in serving sort of the greater good and bringing joyful family moments to life. So we really appreciate your part in that and having us on. Thank you.
Well, as a father who has, experienced this firsthand, getting up at 2 a.m. to set up the elf and what have you, and Christmas as being such a big deal at my house. We go all out, like a full-size tree in every room, and it's just amazing. So on behalf of all those Elf on the Shelf participants out there that may not ever have a chance to meet you and say thank you, I want to say thank you and express my gratitude for you sharing this family tradition with the world and bringing joy to so many people, holiday season or not. So again, everybody, link in the show notes for the book and the video game. Please go and check it out. And once again, ladies, thanks so much for taking the time.
For having us. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
And everybody out there checking us out, whether you're listening to the audio-only feed or watch us on YouTube, we really appreciate you. We appreciate the support, and we'll talk to you next time.